So this video is going to be about how to utilize the orders and put in the contract worksheet for in order to determine if a job is meeting the profitability margins that we need on any given job. And we don't have the orders built out entirely correct yet, but so first we would need to check actually if we'll go into documents first and check and see if there's a full Eagle View report, and it looks like there is. The PDF is going to be the one with the numbers. This can also be renamed. You can go in here and look at the details, and we can just put Don Yancey Eagle View PDF. Save that so that one we know, and maybe let's try to start doing that because these are a little confusing. The only thing that has to be in here with this is the XML file. The XML file actually is what is like the backlog data. It is the computer version of this that allows these auto calculations to happen. So we're going to go into the order, and I think the orders we have built out are in the no real-time pricing. We will have different ones. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just lost sound for like a minute, and I don't know what. Sorry.
That's okay. So where we're at is what I was saying is in the documents. We're gonna start. We need to start the one that had the numbers like this, but it says PDF is the one that you're able to open up and you're able to view it like this and actually view all the details of this Eagle View and stuff like that. Okay.
Okay.
But what the XML file is like this. It's code. Okay. So the XML file, though, is required in order for this next portion to happen properly. So that has to stay in there. But like this property owner report, neighborhood report is crap. And it doesn't, it's really nothing good for nothing. Except for like maybe like this stuff is like something you send to the homeowner. It doesn't have all the details. It's more of a presentation type of thing than it is like an actual like something to utilize for us. So what we'll do is that so what's going to happen is once we put the contract worksheet in, and we'll do that in a second. Once we put the contract worksheet in, we'll also build out the orders. Now, what will happen is for the most part, Holly, you should kind of be doing this on a generic scale, and then Adam will go in or we can even have Adam do this first, put this stuff in, and then you can go in and just check it. We can discuss how that flow should go.
Okay.
But so we're going to go no real-time pricing, and then we're going to try materials and labor on this one because I don't know what's built out in the system. So it's typically going to be roofing, and then we're just going to put Yancey roof order. And then we're going to click, it's going to go to blank template or template. And so we're going to use template. And then RSG, a supply steep slope roofing template for subs with workers' comp policy. So, Holly, right now with us using Mauricio, that's kind of what we've been doing. But we also have it for see how we have it for Silver Pledge, Golden Pledge, and Systems Plus? So that'll be based on the type of materials that we have to use. That's why it's built out differently. I'd say probably, 50 to, I don't know, maybe even actually as high as like 80, 90% of everything we're doing is just going to be this base one. So if it's for a sub with workers' comp policy, and in the near future, that's going to have to be everybody, period. Now, this one's actually a little bit different right now, but I'm just going to use this as an example because we've recently restructured that stuff. And so we'll just put that in a different way. So you see how it automatically puts in all the calculations. That's because of that XML file, the one with all the code in it. That's what allows the system to read this, and it puts it all in for me. And so like it has all this, and we've built the orders out based on measurements and codes, or measurements and calculations based on these items. Like every item in the order, every labor item in the order as well is based on these calculations. So we're going to go ahead and click next, and see how it's populating it right here. Now the only things that you have to do to complete it, let's go back to documents real quick, and we're going to pull up Finalized contract. So he wants white drip edge and charcoal shingles. It's okay. So I'm gonna go to charcoal shingles for the charcoal shingles, and then the starter strip doesn't have a color. The sealer ridge has a color. The sealer ridge is the ridge cap. So the shingles in the ridge cap have colors to choose from. Everything else is just standard. And then you also get down to the drip edge. The trim coil is for like a chimney flashing. So even if you have up to like 2 chimneys, you're still going to only need one of these. So we'll actually go on here and look, Holly, and see if he has. Well, he's got 3 chimneys, so we might need two coil trims for this, or trim coils. So we're actually going to go on here, and I'm going to go ahead and choose black. And we're going to make that 2, because like if it was under 2, it definitely would have only been 1. So I'm going to just go ahead and choose 2. And then it's 44.60 per roll, so that totals 89.20. Then the metal sales drip edge, if you look here on the contract, the install aluminum drip edge, it's white. So we're gonna we're gonna choose white. And then pipe flashings, the same type of thing. He's got all pipe flashings. One of the things that we need to start doing is, like, I can kind of look at this and go, these are box vents here, so we're closing in these box vents, which means we're going to need a couple sheets of plywood to close those in. It's hard to tell from this satellite view, though. I could probably get another angle and zoom in on it. It's just really hard, but it looks like we might have like 3 pipe flashing. So I'm going to order a little heavy on this, and I'm going to just call this 2. And then they come in 2 different sizes, 1.5 to 3 inch, and then 3 to 4 inch. So I'm going to just order 2 and 2 to be safe. So the aluminum,
why did you delete the note?
I always do, because I hide it. It's cleaner for me to look at, because the same thing it says right here, it says here. So like when this order actually gets sent over and printed, I like this to be completely empty. So like we don't put the box vents back, and you can tell on the contract because we're going to close in 6 turbines or box vents here. So on the order, I'm just deleting that. And then aluminum turbines, same thing, deleting that. Roof power fan, unless it specifies that in here somewhere, we're going to usually close it in. If it's not on this line, we're doing away with it. So okay. I'm going to just delete that. And then an electric mast split boot is, this is what an electric mast is. So when you have an electric pole that comes out of the roof, like this, well, actually, that's just a regular pipe flashing. I wish it'd actually give me. But where the electricity runs to something on the roof like this, it'll have a split boot, because you can't slide the pipe over top of it like you do the normal plumbing flashings like this one. This is a normal one. These split ones actually come off around it, and you can put it back on around it, because you can't slide it over the top without getting electrocuted. So we don't know if we have one of these. I don't know. It doesn't appear that we do. So then the OSB is your plywood. I'm going to go ahead and put 3 on there, because we've got to close in 6 box vents. So I'm going to say 1 sheet of plywood for every 2 box vents we have to close in. And again, that's notated here. They close in the 6 turbines or box vents. So we kind of know, but I could probably get away with like 2 sheets, but I'm going to do it a little heavy. I always err on the side of going heavy when I do these orders, because, I'd rather not have to go run for materials. And I'd rather us, when we're calculating this, be erring on the side of we wind up spending less, and our margins are still better. So, somebody have a question?
No.
Okay.
Agreed. Okay.
All right. So I'm just cleaning this up, even though I don't need to do this right this second, but my OCD is taking over. The ridge vent are 4-foot pieces, and that's always calculated when you're looking at like this stuff here. The ridge cap and the ridge vent this is the ridge. Hips are like what you would imagine them to be, the hip of a roof. Now the hip of a roof is, I tell people think of like hips, or they actually come down at an angle, whereas a ridge just runs across the top and it comes to a point. The hips come down at an angle. So you can have both on a roof. It's just that Don Yancey's house does not. It just has ridges. If you look in the photos, nothing runs at an angle except for the valleys. So the everything that this gets, but only the ridge itself gets ridge vent. But the hips and the ridges both get shingles. So both this area and this area get shingles, or shingle caps, the sealer ridge, but only this area gets the ridge vent. So in this case, like on Don Yancey's, the system is auto-calculating. On this, it's calculating the ridges. So 163 pieces is so it has 41 pieces of ridge vent. So this number, 41 times 4, actually equals 164, and there's 163 feet, so it's ordering a little bit more. More than likely, we'll have about 2 pieces of this left over, though. So the ridge caps, it's calculated. It says it's a 25-foot bundle, but we actually calculate it on a 20-foot bundle because they're wrong. And then GAF Pro Start is done at 120 feet per bundle. And then on these bundles, and this is the other thing, Holly, you'll want to make sure that this pricing is right. If this were to be converted to squares, that would be way off. So these should be all done on the bundle, and this should match right here, this calculation. So, and if we have it done right, it won't get screwed up. So sometimes we have done them wrong when we initially built out the system, and it just screws it up. So this is the material order. Everything looks good to me. And again, this is probably a little tough for you to do right this second. This is something that I would probably have, I think we probably need to have Adam do. But if you're trying to get a quick run on it, most of the stuff that you're going to need, like to calculate it, you could throw in some generic numbers on some of this and still probably figure out what you need to do, with a little more training. So maybe for the time.
So you just take the contract pretty much. Well.
Yep.
You verify with the contract. Is there ever a difference in the contract and the Eagle View? Is there ever any discrepancies?
There have been. We've had measurements be off. Like, it's just kind of crazy. But, I don't know. We got to have, I mean, there's not very much discrepancies on the Eagle View. The things that are not going to be on the Eagle View that are be auto-calculated is this section, the chimneys, the pipe flashings, and then the colors you'll have to input automatically. So, okay. And then here you'll know whether you need to choose a Systems Plus, a Silver Pledge, or a Golden Pledge. And this stuff actually is calculated or determined by this. So like a Systems Plus will have just this one. A Silver Pledge will have still just this one. And then a Golden Pledge will have all 3 of these. So, and actually this is contract wrong. It says eaves. It should say rakes here. But and then also skylights. We'll have to build out some of the skylights. Up in Pittsburgh, we run into a shit ton of this. Down here, we or down in the other offices and stuff, we typically don't. So.
Okay.
And then, so then the next part of this after the materials is going to take us to the labor. And then this should have auto-calculated, and it's fucking not, so that sucks. All right, so we have to go in and build this. So Don Yancey's is actually a little bit easier. I'm going to try to do this just quickly to give us a... So Don Yancey has 64, 81, and then if you look at the waste percentage factors, like a 10% waste is a kind of a typical number. So we're going to say 10% is about 71 squares. So, and then you have the ridge and starters and things like that. So like And actually, like on Don Yancey's, it'll probably be like we probably would normally use a 15% waste factor, which would put us at like 74 or something like that. So just for the sake of how we normally would do it, I'm going to use 74 here. Now, the steep fee, if you look here on this, again, it should auto-calculate once it's built out properly. But if you look on which page? This page, it'll tell you what the pitch is. And I can't tell if is that saying 912? So if you look here though, it's saying 612. So if you look here, it's saying 412 to 612. So when you look here on this order, this is for a 412 to a 712. So all of the pitches on this roof fall in between the base pricing. If it doesn't, it'll add $10 per unit here for steep charges and things like that. The cut in the ridge vent, since we are closing in the box vents and adding new ridge vent, this roof currently doesn't have it. We're going to be putting it on there. So we're going to go ahead and just put 160 feet of it. And then remove and replace plywood. We're probably going to since we delivering 3, we're going to put 3. And then chimney counter flash. We're gonna since they all seem to be decent sizes, we're gonna just go ahead and put 3 of these smalls, but we're gonna actually bring this pricing down. So I'll get all this stuff adjusted. We're not installing a skylight. So all the ones that we're not using on this right now, I'm gonna go ahead and delete just for ease of looking at it. The chimney flashing, medium, extra large, large. And we don't have any skylights on this. Counter flashing, we've already got that. Transportation fee is going to be 74. It's going to be the same as the base. Same thing with the safety equipment and then the dump fees. So this is going to be a little bit high. This would be like if we were paying a sub a little bit more than what we're actually paying Mauricio right now, Holly. But so it auto calculates everything, and it comes to about $6,100. So then we're going to go ahead and hit next. So I can we're not going to schedule this. We're just going to save it. We're going to go ahead and just save it as I don't know if we can save it as a draft or save it as approved or not. I'm going to try to save it as draft first and see how it does. So now we're going to go ahead and do the contract worksheet. This one happens to be, this one I think is an insurance deal. Yes. So we're going to pull up the damage estimate here. And so he's got multiple things going on here. So the first thing that you're going to look at is the roof line item. The RCV is the replacement cost value. Now the first thing you need to look at is to see if this is an ACV policy. Usually it'll have instead of these hashes like this, these parentheses, it'll have something that looks like, and it'll have the numbers will look like this instead. It'll be a greater than, less than look like that. So if it has that, then it means that it's a non-recoverable depreciation, meaning those people do not get that money on the back end. The other way to check that is to come down here and see if it'll say less depreciation, and usually if it's a non-recoverable depreciation, it'll say less non-recoverable depreciation. And then it'll say total. In some claims, you'll have total recoverable and total non-recoverable. Because some claims it'll be ACV only on the roof, meaning that you get recoverable depreciation on the non-roof items, and then you don't get the depreciation back on the roof. So you can have a policy that is split. So on this, though, we're going to go ahead and put in the totals for each of these individual. You're going to do it based on the RCV value. So on the RCV value, we're going to pull up the contract worksheet, and then new contract worksheet. click insurance, and then pull this up. So we'll start with just roof here. It totals 18,641.68. 18,641.68. Then you look at the contract. He's got it based on that number. And then what Chris did though is Chris collected, because he is pretty decent at getting pretty decent at this. He actually collected. Well, he actually didn't write that up properly, I don't think. Oh, yeah, he did.
95.
18. He didn't do this math. I know what he did, but he didn't do this math. Yeah, he didn't. So this is where stuff gets caught, and this, if you've done them as long as I have, it is kind of. So he wrote it up based on this. Somewhere his math went wrong. I don't quite know, but we're going to go ahead and just finish out the contract worksheet since it is correct. So then the second thing we're going to do is interior closet, and it looks like the total for the interior closet is $79.62. So we'll put this as interior dash closet $74.62. This is gonna, then you're gonna go over here because we're not doing this work, and put the $74.62.
Is that just because it's just not roof? So you're not doing that?
Well, it does if these guys are doing their contracts properly, which a lot of times they're not. But if I were doing this, I would have had roof this much, gutters this much, then a total, so you'd have known what I was doing. If I wasn't doing the work, I don't necessarily specify that on the contract, but the work I am doing, I separate it line item by line item. Like this is gutters, this is downspouts, this is the additional money for the downspouts, because they almost do need to, and we might need to change the contracts a little bit to outline this stuff, but for the time being, we're trying to train these guys to do this properly. So
and where'd you get your closet number?
Right here from here's where the interior closet started, and then this is where it totals out, totals closet. Then the next one's going to be interior still, but it's going to be living room, and then this is going to be your total for the living room. But you see how they then had it added together still on a third line item for the total interior, but we're going to still separate it. So interior living room, $191.56. So these three, so if you look at this total claim, we're actually, this came out to $18,912, and then they have the material sales tax. So we are missing something, and let's find it. This is where you'll know you're missing something sometime. So let's go back and look at the.
So their bottom total of real RCV needs to match on the contract.
Well, on the contract worksheet, this is we need to put in work not doing over here for this $191.56.
You just subtract that negative?
It automatically subtracts it negative. You don't want to make this negative because then it becomes a positive. Yep. So this is the only field that I'm aware of. All the rest of these, if you do an upgrade or a discount, the discount has to be a negative. If you want this to be a negative, you have to make it a negative. Work not doing is automatically a negative. So let me see here. We're missing something. So because this total contract worksheet here or the total for the claim is 19,269.13. So when I'm looking at that, I'm going to go back up here and see if they have any taxes. See, they don't. Okay, this is where Chris messed up. The contract worksheet actually does equal. It's actually a little bit off. Where am I off at? One.
You're going too fast for me to see.
191.
What's off, but you keep going.
Okay, hold on.
I'll follow.
Oh, this is 79.62, not 74. So this is 79.62. So this 18.912.86. If we go back here to the final draft, 18.912.86. Let's double check that. 18.912.86. So this number, see, this is how these can all get weird. The tax, they did not include the tax in these line items. Some of them will. But this one did not. So in these scenarios, what we do is we snatch all the tax. Because 99% of this claim is roof, and about 99% of that tax total belongs to us. So we're going to call that 356.27. Max 356.27. And then we're keeping that money. So now this does not match Chris's contract. And this, I bet you, if we run the numbers on Chris's contract here, let's pull up a calculator. Oh, great. Really? Okay, well, Chris's contract here, I'm going to go ahead and add the 13,695.01 as his deposit, which, by the way, Holly, he picked up again today. Yep, and then 5,446 and 67 cents. So this number is actually, and he's still off. He has it at 19,260, or it should be at 19,269.13. And we're just going to put that in as the tax and leave it there. And this is something we'll have to explain when we send it off. So this is actually where this should have been written up. And then we'll need to let them know. So
can you go back to the scope, or where the final page, the numbers page?
Yes.
Pretty please. 19,269.13. Was there anything else on there?
Nope, those were the only items.
Okay.
So if you look at this, it's just got the roof, and it's got the two interiors, the closet and the living room.
Okay.
So, but then when you go to do the numbers on this number.
So what happens? Have these people already gotten checks from the insurance company, or is this coming out of their pocket?
Yes, they've already gotten. So if you look at the check that Chris picked up, he got it 13,695.01.
Yeah.
And see, here's a couple problems I'm having on this. That's not what we should be looking at. We should be looking at this. So he got
a check. So they got a check for the actual cash value.
He got it for the actual cash value, which is the first check. This is actually the first check that the homeowner received. And then Chris collected their $500 deductible on here. My problem with what Chris did on this claim is he wrote up for 3 fucking chimney flashings, and there's no approvals for chimney flashings. So you're talking about an incurred cost of about of what we'd pay to crews and what we would pay for materials, like $600-700, and the insurance company did not pay for it at all. So he should have gotten extra money for this because I can guarantee you that the insurance company's not going to pay for it. Now, we're going to go back and supplement for it, but I can about bet that they're not going to pay for it. So, like, if you take Chris's job right now, at the base number at 64.85, and let's just say because there's not going to be a lot of – normally I would do this at a 1.15 rate for a 15% waste factor, but – honestly, it's probably closer to 10 or 12%. So let's just even do it at 10% for right now. It's at 71.33. So me just running this number right here, the 19,269, and this is if he didn't have the chimney flashings, 19,269 divided by, let's call it 72 squares. He's at 267 per square. So, like, this is not a buildable job, like, even a little bit right now. So, like, got a major issue. And then on top of that, he wrote about an additional $1,000 in chimney cost alone. So this is not – so, like, there should be a way – there should be a way. Let me restart the meeting. Alrighty. Well, focus on the. Alright, I'm going to go back into the GoToMeeting. Tina, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Sorry, it automatically kicks us off.
Why?
40 minutes. You got to upgrade and pay for it.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Yeah. It's all good. I didn't know we had ran that long already. So let me get back in here. So, like, I'm waiting for her to get on. Can you see my screen or no?
No.
Oh, okay, hold on. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Okay, you're back?
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what happened.
The meeting ended. Let me see here. It's not allowing me to show you guys the screen. Huh. Alright, they're killing me here. Okay, I'm gonna see if it'll allow me to come in through my browser.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay, can you hear me? Okay, can you hear me now?
Sound like an alien, Josh.
I don't know how to do this.
Holly, can you hear me?
Yeah, well, I can hear you. Oh man, how do you do this? Okay, guys, I don't know what. Can you hear me now,
I can hear you.
Holly? I don't know. I don't know how to get it to allow me to share the screen. Okay. So, and this is actually kind of the important part for Holly. Let me. So it did. I think she. Okay, no, that was me. Here's what we'll do. I'm gonna finish how to run this through for her to, basically like run the cap out. What's her name is gonna do? Katie's gonna do some stuff with you guys on Friday, and I'm gonna work on some other videos for both of you guys that I'll be I'll be running it. But I'm gonna go ahead and do a pre-cap out report on this video, and then I'll send you the link, and you guys can fast forward to it. Okay.
Okay.
And then Tina, just hang tight. I'm gonna finish this up real quick so I can close out this video, and then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna run through some NOCs or run through an NOC or two. Okay. And Holly, if you want to hop back on, I can even dead this meeting and pop up a new one. Actually, let me see if that works real quick first. So, hold on. You guys hop back on in just a minute. All right. You there, team? Oh, Holly, is that you're there? Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start running you through this, and I'll just send the video over to her. So now that we got Don Yancey's contract worksheet saved as or saved, I believe I want to say you go to Tools, and then let's see, reports. Job profitability report, okay? It's going to be in reports and then job profitability report. I don't even know what I'm supposed to have got. Okay, that's not actually, I guess this is not where you do this. Measurement provider.
Maybe go back to reports. Should be something there.
No, because these are going to be like reports for everything. Like the company. Mm-hmm. It's going to be in tools. Task manager, production, checklist, labor, reassign jobs, company document.
Cash flow forecast report?
Maybe.
I don't know what that one is.
But yeah, that's normally going to be something like this.
Okay, no, that's not.
Yeah. Directory.
It didn't make sense, but.
I want to say, because there was one I felt like when we were just on. So let's go back to no, I'll tell you where it's at. All right, hold on. It's in the job menu.
To the right.
Profit analysis is where this is at. Sorry to whoever is watching this video. This is not our best day.
Yeah. Okay. We know what we're talking about.
No,
we do. Okay. So there we go.
Okay. Well.
So after your roofing order or your materials and your labor orders in, you do the profit analysis based on that.
Right. So, I mean, it's still saying this is a 29.85%, but this should actually be at 40%. So this is way under. So in order for it to really be where it probably needed to be, would probably need to be, let's run it at 22,000 or 13,3, 26.66. Divided by 22,000. Yeah, it would have needed to be closer to 22,000. So, and the thing is, and that's not counting. I guess that is counting the chimney flashing. So that, like, that's it. Like, this needs to get up $3,000. So, but do you see how to do that though, Holly? Once we've got all this in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The profit analysis?
Yeah. And this is actually not really accurate. The labor is going to be a little bit lower, actually. The labor is going to be lower by about $1,000. So, like, with what we're paying Mauricio right now, because we're paying Mauricio the total of this number and this number, and actually this number will probably be lower. It probably is close to meeting, but we wanted to meet it with, like, not these, because this actually puts this at like $80 a square, and I mean, we might be there with another crew, but with Mauricio, we're not. So we're actually probably down another 1,500. So let's run that number. Let me see here. So at 12,000 divided by 18,997, we're actually at 37%. So we're not that far off. But still, it's not that great. Like, this job should have been a few $1,000s higher. We're at $267 a square. That's super low. And actually, these material numbers might not be correct because, yeah, we're not at this number still. Our materials are going to be higher. We're probably going to be closer to $8,000 on that. So it offsets it. So we're still not there. We're probably at 33, 34, 35%. And this needed to be at minimum 40, and we'd like them closer to 45.
So is there anything we can do on that?
We can supplement it, but there's no guarantees, or Chris can go back and get more money for the chimneys. So here's what we're going to start doing on these. We're going to, on something that needs to get supplemented. So I'm going to go into Yancey. Since it's already, the contract worksheet's already in, we're going to go ahead and we're going to convert it to approved because it has a contract worksheet and it has a PO number. Then we're going to go back, edit the progress. Anything that needs a supplement from now on is going to go back to prospect. Okay?
Okay.
So can you record a payment with that or no?
Yeah, I can get around it.
Okay. Sorry to make your life tough. This is what we're starting to do with Chris Miller Roofing too.
Okay. So how it works in like QuickBooks won't have, like I have to go to the sub. The job PO is the sub of the customer in QuickBooks. So I just have to record it to the customer. So it'll still show up on the customer, but I'll have to, once the contract worksheet is uploaded, I have to go back and apply that payment towards the invoice. Anyway, it works. So let me make a note of that. Anything that needs supplement gets moved back. Okay. And all the supplementing's done after the contract worksheet is approved? Typically, like, do you still do a job if you don't know that you're going to get the money?
Well, like on this one, yeah, we would. We wouldn't kick this back because it's still close. What we're going to start doing with guys is that if it's not meeting like our minimum requirements, like they're gonna start taking points for every couple points that we take. So instead of him getting 10 on this, he might, under the new scenario of moving forward, he might get 5.
Okay. I mean, you have to make sure that you're profitable.
Yep.
Okay. Supplement gets moved back after contract worksheet is. Ooh, I like the meat and potatoes of numbers.
Yes, I knew you would like this. So, but that basically wraps up how you do the basics of that.